What's up, booktube? Welcome back. My name is Laura if you're new here, and today I'm letting my tarot cards pick my TBR for April. So as I mentioned in my March TBR, I'm possibly retiring Operation. I've been doing it for like over a year now, and like I love doing it. It's so much fun, but it has gotten pretty easy for me. I haven't had a punishment in months because I've just gotten really good at picking out the little pieces from the thing. So I wanted to try something new, and I wanted to use my tarot cards. I bought these quite a while ago and I barely ever use them, but they're so beautiful. This is the Tarot of the Divine deck by Yoshi Yoshitani. I'll of course leave their site linked down below for you guys to go and check them out. They've created this beautiful tarot deck that is all inspired by different myths and legends from different cultures across the world. If you watch my channel, then you probably know that I'm obsessed with mythology and like all kinds of fairy tales and stuff, so this deck is truly the perfect deck for me, and I needed it. There's also, I have on my shelf somewhere, there's a like really pretty hardcover that goes into like a more in-depth story of each card. So basically with this deck, I'll show you some examples. Each card is inspired by like a different myth or legend, and the story, the myth, the legend, whatever it is, somehow corresponds to what the card actually means. So it's just so beautifully done. Like there's like Beauty and the Beast, for example, there's like different fairy tales and myths from different cultures throughout the entire world, and they are just so beautifully made. I'm obsessed with this deck and I really want to use it more often, so I figured, you know, let's try using it for this and see how that goes. I've seen other people using their tarot cards to pick their TBRs for them on YouTube before, so I thought I would kind of do the same thing. So the rules for this are going to be a little bit more lenient, I guess is the word for it, where I'm not going to have like specific prompts. So I'm going to pick out my cards and then pick a book that somehow relates to the card. So it could be related in terms of it's a retelling of the same fairy tale that's in the card, or like one of the keywords from the guidebook relates to the book somehow, that kind of thing. So I'm going to be picking books that somehow relate to the card that I'm choosing, if that makes sense. I might try and add some more rules later on. I really did like no planning for this. I like vaguely tried to think of how I wanted to go about this, but I just kind of like want to see where it goes. Just try picking some cards, and then if I want to add some rules later on, then I'll do that. But for now, it's going to be like a pretty loosey-goosey TBR in terms of the books that I pick and the prompts that I have. So we're trying that for this month and seeing how it goes. Otherwise, for this month, G over at Book Roast is hosting the Spring Equinox Readathon for the Orilium Magical Readathon. So I'll be doing that. And so for this Readathon, we are now in our first semester of our education over at the Orilium Academy, and I'm choosing to pursue a career as a Rift Architect, which if y'all know me at all, you might laugh at me for this because it's the most obvious choice for me, but a Rift Architect is somebody who opens portals to different places, different dimensions, and you can travel through them, or, you know, banish demons and beasts and stuff through it. If you don't watch my channel very often, then you might not know, but I'm obsessed with portal fantasy. It is my favorite thing in the entire world, so like of course I'm going to choose the career path where I can make portals. Obviously I'm going to do that. And for this career path for this semester, I have to read a book for astronomy, which is a book at the top of my TBR, Inscription and Intimidating Read, Spells and Incantations, which is a book of short stories or essays, Psionics and Divination, which is a book set in the future, and then Conjuration, which is a book that has a source of light on the cover. So those are the 6 prompts that I have to fill for this readathon. So let's get started with this. I'm just gonna really poorly shuffle. I'm so bad at shuffling, and then, oh god, I'm already dropping cards. Oh my god, I'm so bad at shuffling. Why am I so terrible at this? I've never been good at shuffling, so maybe this was not the best idea. Whatever. Alright, so that's sufficiently shuffled. So I'm just gonna pick out a bunch of cards here. So let's see, I'm gonna go with 1. Let me go 2, 3, this one, 4, and we'll do over here, let's do 5. Alright, so I've got my 5 cards here. Let's see what card number 1 was. The 6 of Coins. Just gonna grab my little handy-dandy guidebook here. I really don't have these cards memorized. I've been interested in tarot my entire life, but I have not, I'm not that well versed in it, so I definitely do not know how to read them myself, so I'm just going to be using this. Alright, so the 6 of coins. The legend that is on this card is the woman who was kind to insects, which is a Inuit fable from Alaska. And this one says, the 6 of coins represents kindness and generosity to those less fortunate. The old woman from this Inuit tale understands the need to put positivity into the world in order to receive it back, the pay-it-forward methodology of karma. And the upright keywords are generosity, charity, kindness, value, and reward. So for this one, I'm going to be reading Taaqtumi, an anthology of Arctic horror stories. This one I've had on my TBR for not too long now, but I heard about it recently and like immediately wanted to read it. It sounds creepy as hell. So since anthologies are kind of hard to sum up, I'm just going to read the Goodreads synopsis here. So it says, Taaqtumi is an Inuktitut word that means in the dark, and these spine-tingling horror stories by northern writers show just how dangerous darkness can be. A family clinging to survival out on the tundra after a vicious zombie virus. A door that beckons, waiting to unleash the terror behind it. A post-apocalyptic community in the far north where things aren't quite what they seem, with chilling tales from award-winning authors. This collection will thrill and entertain even the most seasoned horror fans. So I've heard amazing things about it. I haven't seen too many people reading it, but the couple of reviews that I have seen, this seems like it's going to be a really creepy kind of story, and obviously relates to the card because of the indigenous stories. And then for the Magical Readathon, this one is going to fill my prompt for spells and incantations, which is to read a book of short stories or essays. Alright, card number 2, we've got the Hanged Man reversed, and this card is inspired by Sleeping Beauty, which is an Italian fairy tale apparently. Didn't know that actually. It says the Hanged Man sees his forward momentum to avoid disaster and instead favors reflection. Sleeping Beauty is a symbol of stasis with the option of sleep or death. She chooses to wait for more favorable conditions. And the reverse keywords are willfulness, useless, sacrifice, rushing, thoughtlessness, and martyrdom. For the Hanged Man, I'm going to be reading The Bone Spindle by Leslie Vedder. This one is an incredibly queer fairy tale retelling that combines Sleeping Beauty, so the card here, and Indiana Jones. And like, I don't really know much about the actual plot, but like it has an axe-wielding lady on the cover, so obviously I want to read it. And like, I don't want to look too much into the synopsis of it, but I know that there is like treasure hunting in here and a sleeping prince and all these things, and it just sounds like it's going to be so much fun. This one was just released in January and I have been dying to get to it, so I'm so happy that I picked the Sleeping Beauty card for this one so I could read this one. I have just been itching to read this book, so I'm so excited. And for the Magical Readathon, this one will fit my prompt for astronomy, which is to read a book at the top of my TBR. Card number 3 is the 6 of Swords, also reversed. The myth on this card is Danae and Perseus, which is from Greek mythology. The 6 of Swords represents leaving behind tumultuous waters for a future that is calm and promising. After being imprisoned by her own father, Danae and her young son Perseus escape. Perseus will eventually grow to defeat the Gorgon Medusa. Ooh. And the reversed keywords are feeling trapped, instability, cancelled travel, abuse, and unresolved issues. I could do a watery one for this. For the 6 of Swords, I'm going to be going with The Mermaid, the Witch, and the Sea by Maggie Tokuda-Hall. This one is a queer pirate story, so like y'all know that I'm gonna love this one. I love pirate stories so much, and obviously relates to the card because of the watery settings of both. This one follows 2 main characters. The one is somebody who is disguised as a boy aboard a ship, and the ship is fronting as being a like passage for some really rich people, but once they're out in the open seas, they reveal that they're actually a slave ship, and they are kidnapping all the other people aboard, and so the one main character is helping to do that. And then our other main character is a passenger on the ship who is on her way to an arranged marriage that she does not want, and the two meet and end up falling in love, and so I believe they like try to escape together, and there's gonna be a mermaid involved somehow, which I'm very excited to find out how. I really have no idea like how this is really going to turn out, but I'm very curious to find out. I've heard again amazing things about this one, and I cannot wait to get to it. And then for the Magical Readathon, this one fills my prompt for Conjuration, which is to read a book with a source of light on the cover, and you can see the sunset behind the ship on the cover, as well as stars all around the cover as well. Card number 4 is the 4 of Wands upright, and this card is depicting Mohini and Aravan, which comes from India, and it's a Sanskrit epic poem. I actually haven't heard of that one before. That's cool. This reminds me of Strange the Dreamer with the blue girl on there. This one says, the 4 of Wands represents rejoicing and festivities, a well-deserved celebration and a stable time to be thankful, cherishing loved ones. Mohini and Aravan embrace each other, enjoying the time before the next adventure begins. And the keywords are reunion, success, pride, happiness, and family. For the Four of Wands card, I'm going to be reading Across a Field of Starlight by Blue Delliquanti. This one is a recently released graphic novel about these two non-binary people who met when they were children. I think the one like crash lands onto the other one's planet, and their planets are at war with each other, but they meet as children and end up having this really good connection, so they secretly stay in contact throughout the years and are trying to find a way back to each other. So for this card, I'm using the keyword of like reunion, and then for the Magical Readathon, I'm using it to fill my prompt for Psionics and Divination, which is a book set in the future. And then finally, card number 5, we've got the Four of Coins upright. This card is showing a folk tale from Peru called Condor's Wife, which is a Mara folktale. I'm not really sure what that is actually, I'll have to look into that. This one says, the Four of Coins represents greed and unwillingness to open up or to share. Condor covets his wife who does not like his lifestyle or living with him. He recognizes her unhappiness but is unwilling to make changes or set her free. The upright keywords are hoarding, possession, financial stability, materialism, and stinginess. Interesting. And finally, for the Four of Coins card, I'm going to be reading Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. I'm finally getting to this beast of a book. This is a chunker, so I'm interpreting the recognizing her unhappiness but unwilling to make changes kind of thing to relate to a certain relationship in this book that I don't want to spoil in case you haven't read the first book yet. But if you've read the first book, you probably know who I'm talking about. I believe there was a bracelet involved, if that tells you where I'm taking the inspiration from here. But Chain of Iron is the second book in the, what's it called, the Last Hours series, I think it's called. No idea. Yeah, The Last Hours, which is yet another series in the world of Shadowhunters, and it follows the children of the characters from the Infernal Devices, which is my favorite series of this entire world. So I ended up actually kind of enjoying the first book because we got to see Will and Tessa and Jem and all those characters again, and I just adore them, and now we get to also see their children. The plot of this one, I really couldn't tell you what's happening. It's just a whole lot of like relationship drama and like teens being teens, all these things. So it is ridiculous, but honestly it's so much fun, so I'm actually kind of looking forward to it, even though it is a very large book and that scares me. Speaking of scares me, for the Magical Readathon, this one is going to fill my prompt for Inscription, which is to read a book that intimidates me. I am very intimidated by large books, so this one will suit that perfectly. Alright, so those are all the books that I'm planning on reading for April. I'm really happy to finally be actually using my tarot cards for once and also getting to show off how beautiful they are. So let me know if you like this style of TBR choosing, or should I go back to Operation? I don't know. Let me know what you think. I would appreciate the feedback. But I think that this is going to be pretty fun. It's definitely more challenging to find books that'll fit these cards, so I think that it'll be a fun challenge, and it'll maybe help me to finally get to the books that have been sitting on my TBR for a long time that I just keep passing over. But anyways, that'll do it for today's video. So thank you all so much for watching. I hope you're all having a fantastic day wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you in the next video. Bye!